GHWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington. Welcome to GHWATA TV. My name is Jenny Rojanasthien, and I'll be your host for this new weekly show on the NCW Life Channel. I want to start by thanking the NCW Life Channel for giving us this opportunity to come on air every week and bring North Central Washington information about technology companies, innovators, students, and teachers throughout our region. Let's start by talking about GHWATA. GHWATA is a 501c3 with a focus on technology, entrepreneurship, and STEM education. We're a member-based nonprofit, and we serve our community by doing events, education, and outreach. GHWATA hosts 1 to 3 events per month with over 25 events per year, and we're really lucky that we have over 100 business members in our local community who support us. If you've not connected at a GHWATA event before, I encourage you to go online and check out our upcoming event schedule. You can find us at www.gwata.org. And just for a minute, I'll talk a little bit about myself. As I said, my name is Jenny Rojanasthien, and I am passionate about living right here in North Central Washington. Moved to this area 6 years ago, fell in love with a man, got married, bought a house, and plan to spend my life here. So it's a great privilege to serve this community as the executive director of a nonprofit and to serve our members, students, and professionals throughout the region. On our weekly show, I'll be featuring businesses, teachers, students, and innovators. And I'm really excited that for our very first episode, we're bringing on Malachi Salcido. Malachi is a serial entrepreneur in North Central Washington. He's been a long-standing member of GHWATA, and he's been a multiple-time Innovator Award nominee. We're excited to have Malachi Salcido here today to talk about Salcido Enterprises and what technology they're using and building in North Central Washington. When we come back from the break, I'll have Malachi on air, so stay tuned. Welcome back to GHWATA TV. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasthien, and I'm excited to bring on air today on our first episode and our first guest, Malachi Salcido. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's tell the audience a little bit about you and your companies. Go ahead and give us a background.
Sure. So I'm local. I grew up here, went to school here. In 2001, I started a contracting business, and from then till now, that business has expanded to full mechanical, electrical, data, site development, and we also have another group of companies called Salcido Enterprises, and that group of companies represents 14 different entities involved in both blockchain and cryptocurrency development.
Fantastic. And I looked at your resume in advance of this show, and Malachi has a diverse background in education. You're also a certified public accountant, so businessman, entrepreneur, really diverse and dynamic. And you're also a really community supporter and advocate. So thank you for that. Thank you for your membership to GHWATA and your support of our nonprofit.
Absolutely.
We were all excited to see that you were recently featured on CNBC, so a national platform bringing Wenatchee to the forefront. Tell us about that experience and why you were featured.
Sure. The Salcido Enterprises group of companies is very unique in a lot of respects, not the least of which we have no customers. So a no customer business model is what I thought would be non-existent, but we have a no customer business model. So we've been building and developing for the last 4 years in the blockchain space, and CNBC contacted me over the Christmas break, and we just agreed that strategically now was the time to come front facing with all of our operations and what it is we're creating.
Well, North Central Washington is a great place to grow a business. You obviously started yours in 2001 with the Salcido connection. We have a lot of assets that make for a strong entrepreneurial community, but we have some unique assets that make it great for technology companies.
Agreed.
Such as blockchain. Tell us a little bit about why you believe North Central Washington is a great place for this type of technology that you're building, developing, and expanding.
That's a good question. North Central Washington is clearly a good location to develop technologies because large conventional data technology companies are building in this region. We have abundant low-cost power. We have very, very high-speed data. We have high quality of life. We're inside the continental United States, which geopolitically actually is pretty important. Not on an earthquake zone, not flood prone. We don't get tornadoes. You put all those attributes together, we're not a high-value terrorist target. There are many criteria that go into where you're going to stick critical data and tech infrastructure. This region actually qualifies on each of those points.
Thank you for sharing a little bit of that background. I think for us in Wenatchee, we're aware of all of these assets, but it's exciting when we have companies showcased like yours that take those assets to the national level, because we want to grow our community. We want to encourage business owners to start, to move here, to start a business here, so we can continue to be innovators throughout North Central Washington and really the country. And that's what Salcido Enterprises is. You are one of the largest across the continental U.S., is that correct?
That's correct. We have a strategic goal of becoming the largest blockchain center outside of China within the next 1 to 3 years.
Well, that's an ambitious goal, and I'm excited to see you accomplish it. I have no doubt, based on your previous endeavors, that you will. And you're using the blockchain to mine Bitcoin. So let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin, and what is it doing to our economy, to the world? Let's talk to our audience about that.
Okay, that's a great question. So when the CNBC news team came, one of the questions they asked me was, what are some of the things we're saying now about blockchain and cryptocurrency that in the future people are going to look back and make fun of us about? I said, well, several things. One is you talk about blockchain like there's only one. And so as I expressed to them, saying the blockchain is like saying the software. So blockchain is a new kind of software. There's currently over 1,400 different blockchains and corresponding cryptocurrencies. So one of the things that's helpful for people to understand is blockchains are many, not one. They're like a software, but they function very differently, and they have different attributes and use cases. So that's one aspect of blockchain that most people don't understand, is that there are many, and when you tell them it's like software, it begins to start to click, okay, it's like software, I think I can start to understand that.
And so the blockchain, I did it myself. Blockchain technology, one of its applications is Bitcoin, Bitcoin mining and the development of cryptocurrency. But as you just stated, it's a software application that can be used in a multitude of services, whether that's financial, healthcare, even through nonprofits sending money. So it has applications in probably every industry, would you say, in the future?
Every industry. There's no industry that will be untouched by blockchain technology. And there's a lot that's not understood about how blockchain technology works. For example, Bitcoin mining. So Bitcoin is the first blockchain. It was the very first software of its kind written, and many have followed. What we are doing is we are helping build and validate a network for blockchain, specifically Bitcoin blockchain, to be used around the world. And so people say, well, what does that mean? Give it to me in terms I can understand. We're building a foundation. So this new kind of software doesn't reside on a server. It actually resides in the cloud, real cloud, the ether, the internet. That thing we all use but nobody really understands, That's where the software actually resides. And so our machines elevate that platform, and they're building it out. And that's going to be the foundation that this tech builds on. So when people assess the viability of the technology, what they're doing is they're doing the same thing as if you looked at a construction project and all you saw was a bunch of mud and site work and a foundation, concrete being poured, and you said, that'll never be useful for anything. Well, you have to wait. It's not done being built yet. What you will see come out on top of that, the applications, the technology applications that will be built on top of that foundation, will revolutionize every industry where technology, exchange of value, exchange of agreement, exchange of data happens today.
Well, I agree with your assessment in terms of the revolutionary power of blockchain technology and how it's going to disrupt going forward. At GHWATA, the Technology Alliance, it's really important for us to share information about what blockchain technology is and educate the audience. I think that Bitcoin has really elevated the conversation and got people interested, right? As you said, Bitcoin's the first purveyor of this technology. So when we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk more about blockchain technology and your company. So thank you, Malachi, for being here.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to the very first episode of GHWATA TV. I'm here in the studio today with Malachi Salcido of Salcido Enterprises, and we've been talking about blockchain technology and Bitcoin, the currency that's kind of the rage in the news media and online. So let's go back to that conversation, Malachi. Let's talk about blockchain technology and what is Bitcoin?
Great question. So it's difficult to define Bitcoin. People want a one-dimensional definition of what cryptocurrency is. And this is my favorite prop for what is Bitcoin blockchain. So Bitcoin is the first blockchain, but it has many sides, just like this cube has many sides. So we're struggling as a people group to understand what is this new kind of technology with attributes that we've never seen in one kind of tech. So it does have some of the characteristics of a currency. It does have some of the characteristics of a commodity like gold. It's code. You can track identity with it. You can push ones and zeros across it. You could do title settlement. You could do contract formation and execution. And the thing that's so hard is to understand that they're all actually residing in the same piece of technology. That tech has these different characteristics. And as I described during the last segment, it's in the foundation mode. So it's 9 years old. It's not fully built out yet. Most of the use cases, most of the usefulness answers to what can you do with this technology are just now being developed. And that's going to actually make it more clear because like this is my phone, my life, like most of you guys. I don't actually understand how this technology works, but it's broadly adopted now. And so I still don't understand how it works, but I understand enough to know I trust it and I use it, and it makes what I do more effective. So where blockchain technology, including the Bitcoin blockchain, are going in the future is we still won't totally get it, like we don't get this tech, but once it starts showing viable use cases, which I define as faster, cheaper, more secure, and eliminating middlemen. You want to grab the consumer, make it faster, cheaper, more secure, and eliminate middlemen. You do that, they still won't get it, like they don't get this, but they will adopt it and use it.
And as you said, the adoption of blockchain technology and the familiarity, the comfort level with the general community, that's just coming to the surface through the kind of craze around Bitcoin and the currency. But in future years, as it gets applied to all industries, as you stated, the consumers will get comfortable with it. this isn't something that's just being done by one-off small technology companies. You're a large technology company, and Microsoft, all the leading technology companies across the world are also heavily investing in blockchain technology, its uses, how it can be applied to the Internet of Things, financial institutions, as you said, because the applications are so broad. So that being said, we've talked about how it started with Bitcoin. What do you see for Bitcoin in the future? Is this going to be a continual craze, or is it going to teeter off? What's your impressions?
That's a great question. So there's two things going on with Bitcoin. One, you have everybody, including your grandma, who's talking about or actually buying Bitcoin because it's worth more this month than it was last month, at least until recently. So that's just speculative buying of something, hoping that it goes up in value. Don't let that distract you from what it actually is, which is a new technology. So Bitcoin in the future will, I believe, become its original design intent. So you used the Internet of Things. Bitcoin's blockchain, its characteristics and its design was made to be a cashless peer-to-peer payment settlement system. So the Internet of Things needs the payment settlement of things, a way to pay peer-to-peer without a financial intermediary. That was Bitcoin's original design intent, and I believe that will be what it is when it's fully matured as a technology.
And the payment system that's been set up through blockchain technology, or really all applications of blockchain, because the way it's built, it's decentralized, it's in the cloud, it doesn't reside in an individual server. It's also really hard to crack, right? A hacker can't come in and take your Bitcoin or take your blockchain technology. Am I saying that correctly?
You are, yeah. So Bitcoin is uniquely decentralized. Why do so many machines all over the world run this protocol? Well, one, it's profitable to do so, but it was designed that way. It was designed as monetized code to motivate people to build this network, this big foundation. You know human nature, so you can't build something and tell everybody just leave it alone. Hackers have made that extremely clear. You have to build a network that you can't hack. It's too big, it's too disconnected for you to be able to hack it. And if you could build such a platform, you could actually exchange value across it and trust it without any financial intermediary, not PayPal, not credit cards, not banking systems. You'd actually trust the code because it can't be hacked, not because people are leaving it alone. That's the design intent of the Bitcoin blockchain protocol, and that's why there's so many machines being built out so many places, is this will actually be this international payment settlement system of the future.
Well, you brought up a great point, which is hackers, and it's not a topic for today, but cybersecurity and how you're protecting your intellectual property or your business and your services. It's as relevant today as it was ever before, so it's fascinating to see this new technology come out, to see how it's going to revolutionize processes. And I want to thank you for coming on air today to talk about that. I think we're really fortunate that Salcido Enterprises is helping put Wenatchee on the map for pioneering technology, and we're excited to see you grow. Before we take off for the day, is there anything else you'd like to add to the audience? We've covered really big topics here today, but any final thoughts?
I would say keep listening, keep watching. We are, as I mentioned at the break, we are building technologies in 3 other companies that we're not ready to go on CNBC about at this point, but we're pretty excited. We are helping to build the applications technologies that will sit on top of this foundation that we're also creating. And we're excited that North Central Washington gets to be one of the international hubs for this new tech development. Our vision is that this region becomes one of the internationally renowned emerging technology hubs, and together, not just blockchain, but multiple emerging technologies, we're actually going to see that happen, and I'm excited.
I'm excited to see that future as well. Wenatchee has long been an international player in agriculture, and there's no reason we can't do that with other industries. So thank you, Malachi, for being on air with me today. And for our viewers out there, I want to introduce you to our next segment, which is our weekly tech tip. We go out to one of our local business members to film their advice on a variety of topics. And today we have April Welch with Social Media School of North Central Washington. Enjoy the tech tip from April, and we'll be back in just a minute.
All right, I know you're sitting there with your phone, so take it out. I want you to open up your LinkedIn app. While you do that, let me tell you a little about myself. I'm April Welch. I own Flirting with Social, and I run the Social Media School, North Central Washington. All right, one of the most untapped app resources in our valley is LinkedIn. It's a great place for you to connect with your industry peers and coworkers. Now, I know if you're like me, well, you shouldn't necessarily do this, but checking those notifications before you get out of bed, such a bad thing to do. But if you're going to do it anyway, put your LinkedIn app on your phone, check your notifications in the morning along with your Instagram, your Facebook, and all those others. See what the world is up to in the professional realm. And as you get used to reading those notifications, you can start liking them, commenting. It's a great way to connect with professional peers. And then when you're feeling super savvy, then I want you to go in, maybe write an article, maybe comment on somebody else's article and get more involved in the conversation. Another piece of LinkedIn that's super untapped, especially in our area, is groups. So I know GHWATA has a great LinkedIn group. It's a place that you can come together with like-minded people, just like you do on Facebook. But this is where we find all the professional people, where you can have those really great conversations. You can find resources, you can maybe do some job searching, but LinkedIn isn't just for job searching anymore. My name is April Welch. I'm a social media trainer here in North Central Washington, and I'd love to learn more about what you're doing with your LinkedIn profile. Come find me.
And we're back with GHWATA TV. I want to thank our Tech Tip of the Week presenter, April Welch from Social Media School, for that tip. April's absolutely right. Getting on LinkedIn is an important way to connect with our business community. I myself sometimes forget to utilize their app and to go on and say hello to old colleagues, friends, or to share the word about what's going on at GHWATA. So I encourage you to find us on LinkedIn, because I'm going to use today's message as a charge to be really active on LinkedIn going forward. GHWATA hosts a variety of events per month, from Tech Talk and Happy Hour to entrepreneurial panels to some of our showcase events throughout the year, such as the Innovator Awards Luncheon. A great way to find out what's new at GHWATA is to go to our website, www.gwata.org, and learn more about our programs, how you can get involved, and most of all, share your feedback. This was our first of many weekly episodes on NCW Life Channel. We're excited to be here with you on a weekly basis. Let us know what you'd like to hear about, if there's a new tech idea, something that we can feature. And if you're a business member, reach out to let us know when we can schedule your time on NCW Life. I'm Jenny Rojanasthien. It's been great to have you today, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week as we feature a local technology company, Pet Hub. Join us then.
Since 1999, GHWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.